Hi, my name is Nora, and I am going to present my early literacy unit for pre-kindergartners. I've written 3 lessons for this unit, all of them based on a book called The Gruffalo by Julia Donaldson, illustrated by Axel Scheffler. All 3 of these lessons address ELA state standards for pre-kindergartners. The first lesson I've written addresses active listening and reading comprehension. The state standards are: with prompting and support, a student should be able to ask and answer about details in the text. With prompting and support, a student should be able to ask and answer questions about characters and major events in a story. With prompting and support, a student should be able to make connections between self, text, and the world around them. So, the reason that I have included active listening in that lesson is because students are coming into pre-K from a wide variety of backgrounds. You never know if they're coming from a previous school, a in-home daycare, or having been with their parent for the previous 3 years. So the teacher really needs to set a base level of how we sit during read-alouds, how we ask questions, how we interact with the reader. So that will be a lot of the early work of a pre-kindergarten teacher in order to keep things calm and orderly in the classroom. And then the second part of that lesson focuses on reading comprehension to assess, to teach and then assess how students are able to pick up on the different structures of the narrative and how they are able to respond to the narrative. The second lesson I've written focuses on phonological awareness. So it uses the same text, the Gruffalo, which the Gruffalo really lends itself to a lesson about phonological awareness because it is a rhyming book with a beautiful poetic flow to it. So students will be engaged in the book just by listening to it, and then later we'll be able to pick out the rhyming words based on the different activities in this lesson. And this lesson, I should have said the previous lesson I designed was for 6 students, so small groups, whereas this one is designed for an entire class of 18 students, and is a lesson that should be administered with paraprofessionals in the room if possible. So this one addresses the state standards of phonological awareness, an emerging understanding of spoken words, syllables, and sounds, an ability to engage in language play, an ability to recognize and match words that rhyme, a demonstration of awareness of relationships between sounds and letters, and with support and prompting, an ability to isolate and pronounce the initial sounds in words. So in this lesson, I've designed 4 activities that address all of those standards. My last lesson plan of this unit is geared towards encouraging students' creative responses to the literature. So with prompting and support, students should use a combination of drawing, dictating, or writing to express an opinion about a book or topic. With prompting and support, students should be able to use a combination of drawing, dictating, or writing to compose informative or explanatory texts in which they name what they are writing about and supply some information about the topic. With prompting and support, students should be able to use a combination of drawing, dictating, or writing to narrate a single event and provide a reaction to what happened. Students should be able to create and present a poem, dramatization, artwork, or personal response to a particular author or theme studied in class with prompting and support as needed. So by this point, the students will be very familiar with the book, The Gruffalo. Not only will the book be focused on during lessons 1 and 2, it will be available in the classroom for students to look at any time. And this lesson is geared towards how students can extend the narrative, what might happen to the characters after this book ends, what kinds of things do the characters remind them about in their lives, what would they do if they met the characters in the street, what kinds of creative works can the students generate based on what they know of this very familiar text. And that will demonstrate to teachers how students are understanding the structure of a narrative. Are they able to come up with a beginning, a middle, or an end? How can they synthesize their own creativity with this semi-structured challenge that is presented to them? So those are my 3 lessons, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the assessment portion of these lessons before ending this video. During the guided practice section of the lessons, I've created these checklists with a rating scale to enable teachers to take quick data about the students that they're working with. So each student's name is listed, and there's a category for each topic that the teacher might be interested in. So is the first student listening to the story? You can say 1 through 3, 1 being not at all and 3 being very much. Are they listening to the story? Are they looking at the pictures? Are they raising their hand to ask questions about the book? Are they asking relevant questions? Are they commenting on topic? Do they demonstrate an understanding of the plot? So this is the formative assessment sheet for lesson 1. And below the checklist and rating scale, there is room for the teacher to jot down quick notes or comments about each student. In the second formative assessment sheet, there is a list of the entire class, and each assessment goal is here, and the teacher can use a 1 through 3 to indicate to herself which students are really understanding the goals of the lesson and which ones are struggling a little bit more. And for the third, same idea. For the third lesson, there's this assessment sheet for the teacher. The summative assessments for this unit are based on video and photo documentation, teachers taking dictation of students' words, and a work sample that's generated during lesson 3. And those can all become part of a student's portfolio and shared with the student and their family at a later time. Thank you for listening.